Second recording. Okay, one నిమిషం. ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. సర్వేభ్యः నమాంసి. వయం अस्मिन् सत्रे शिवानन्दलहर्याः चर्चाम् अनुवर्तामहे. अत्र शिवानन्दलहरी इति स्तोत्रग्रन्थः आदिशङ्कराचार्येण विरचितम्. एतच्च शतश्लोकी इत्यपि कथ्यते. शिवशतश्लोकी इत्यपि कथ्यते, because it has 100 verses. भक्तिः कथं देवे भवेत्, भगवती कथं भक्तिः भवेत् इति या व्याख्या अस्ति नारदभक्तिसूत्रेषु, सा एव व्याख्या पद्यरूपेण काव्यरूपेण अत्यन्तं हृदय आर्द्रकारणतया रचितम् अस्ति. शिवानन्दलहरी तु शिवप्रधानग्रन्थ एषः. शिवस्य याः कथाः वर्तेरन् ताः कथाः संगृह्य पुराणेभ्यः संगृह्य, अपि च हृदयान्तराळात् या प्रेम उदेति, या भक्तिः उदेति, तया भक्त्या तेन प्रेम्णा च एते शतश्लोकाः विरचिताः सन्ति. अपि च अतीव सरलोऽयं ग्रन्थः, अतीव सरलः. पद्यपुञ्जराण्यपि अतीव सरलानि, सुलभगम्यानि, सुवेद्यानि च सन्ति. यतः भक्तिः एव तथा अस्ति. Bhakti itself is unsophisticated. Philosophy, yoga, and all this have a different level of sophistry, I should rather say complication within them. There is an innate sense of the need for a keen eye, the need for hair-splitting arguments and all of that. Kintu bhaktyam tatha nasti. Bhakti is the most beautiful only when it is unsophisticated, when it is very simple. Like Paramahamsa, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was. He was himself a very simple man. One would not know that he was a Brahmajnani or a Kali Bhakta at all. That is how Bhakti is. It is very modest. The very idea of Bhakti, how Bhakti is and what Bhakti is and how one must perform Bhakti, if at all one can, is very subtly indicated by this stotram. Bhakti in itself is verily the shrinking of oneself, of one's identity, one's artificial identity, and opening up the possibility, becoming a receptacle to a greater possibility, to the higher vast. So bhakti, the word bhakti comes from the dhatu bhaja. Bhaja means to become a receptacle, to accept, to receive. Bhajate mam ananya bhag. So one who is ananya bhag, one who doesn't wish to receive anything else but me. Here me refers to Bhagavan. So that bhajate means to accept, to receive, not just accept as in that God is present or that Vedas are true or anything like that. Here accept means to completely accept and therefore surrender our will, to surrender willfully and lovingly and relinquish all control, all property, all oneness, all minus to that bigger identity, which is maybe in this case it is Shiva, in other case it could be Vishnu, Devi, whatever. So this is the idea of bhakti. With this small introduction, let us start with a Mangala Shloka. As with every grantha, Adi Shankaracharya always begins with a prostration to his Guru and the Guru Tattva itself, the inner fountain of wisdom, the inner fountain of all, mm, source of wisdom, source of propelling us towards the right path and showing us the direction. That is what verily the Guru Tattva means. So that will be the Shri Guru that he talks about. And the Paduka, it's not just literally a footwear. So Paduka means, see, even in Kannada we say Kalu, Kal Bhaga Anta. We say for one fourth of or a quarter of a substance, we say Kalu, which is a Pada. That is also the case with Samskrta also. So what it represents here, one will understand truly and appreciate it if they know the Purusha Suktam. So in the Purusha Suktam, the divine Purusha, the divine entity, split himself into four parts, and one part of it touched down and became the material dimension, whereas the other three parts of the divine entity remained in the metaphysical realm, and it became the unknowable, ungraspable dimensions where he or she alone resides or knows. So that one fourth, which is basically one of his legs, which touched the material dimension, is like the branch of a banyan tree which has come down for us to hold on to it. So that is why the name Paduka is so revered, why we talk about Charana Sparsha and all that. One other reason is, of course, yogically speaking, the foot is where all the nadis end. And the end point, if we bow down to the end point, it is like bowing down to the entire body itself. That is why the other yogic reason for bowing down to the padukas. Let's look at the shloka first. ऐङ्कार ह्रीङ्कार रहस्य युक्त श्रीङ्कार गूढार्थमहाविभूत्या ओङ्कारमर्म प्रतिपादिनीभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् ऐङ्कार ह्रीङ्कार रहस्ययुक्त श्रीङ्कार गूढार्थमहाविभूत्या ओङ्कारमर्म प्रतिपादिनीभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम्. A very touching chandas it is embedded in. It says, I bow down, Namo Namaha, salutations again and again to the Sri Guru Paduka, the fountain of all knowledge and fountain of inspiration, the fountain of motivation. You can think of it either as a personal guru, a person that is a human guru, or a person who already lived and is now no more, or any contemporary guru, or like Dattatreya, you can think of any part of nature itself as the guru, or Atma itself as the ultimate guru. So Ishwaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. A very famous shloka. It says the Guru Tattva, Dakshina Murti, the Guru Tattva manifests in many ways. It manifests as Ishwaraha, Guruhu, Atma. The same Dakshinamurti appears before us as this wide vast world, or as the wide vast God, any deity that we want to think of, or Ishta, or we can think of the same Dakshinamurti as the Guru, that is as an actual physical Guru, and Atma, or also as the Atma itself, as our own pure, unblemished, unimpeded, unconditioned self itself as the Guru, from which all inspiration comes forth. Prashna Upanishad asks, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. From whence is all these thoughts arising? From where? What is kicking the mind about and asking it to wake up and do all these things in the world? That's a very, a grand opening statement of the Upanishad itself. Kene Ishitam, Ishitam. By whose order or by whose will or from where? Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. Preshitam. And someone sends the mind across the horizon to think, to regurgitate the scriptures or to engulf the scriptures. All this that we are doing in this session today are all the play of the mind and the buddhi. So who is propelling all of this to happen? That is called the Atma, and that itself is verily the Sri Guru, who we can bow down before. And Aimkara Hrimkara Rahasya Yukta Shrinkara Gudhartha Mahavibhutya Omkara Marma Pratipadinibhyam. Now, so what is the use of bowing down to this Paduka? So it says it is Pratipadinibhyam. It shows before us, it proves to us. What does it prove? Pratipadana means to prove or to demonstrate or to be the embodiment of. It proves what? The marma, the secret. It reveals the secret. Marma is the secret of what? Of the Omkara. And this Omkara comes with three friends, three companions. What are they? It comes with Aim, Hreem, and Shreem. So Aim, Hreem, Shreem, Om, and then Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. That is actually the Moola Guru Mantra, which is taught in many of the Natha Sampradayas. Om, Aim, Hreem, Shreem, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Or sometimes it is also called Om, Aim, Hreem, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. There are many variants of this, but these three Bijaksharas, Aim, Hreem, Shreem, along with Om, and followed by Gurubhyo Namaha is the ingredient which has gone into the Moola Guru Mantra across traditions. Aimkara represents Saraswati Tattva, Hreem represents Durga, and Shreem represents Lakshmi. Aim, Saraswati, also called as Sattva. Hreem represents Rajas, or power and domination and protection, which is Durga. And Shreem, in this case, represents Tamas, which is Tamas not in a negative way, but Tamas as in relaxing, something which brings us comfort, something which allows us to indulge decadence. That is called as Shreem. So Aim, Hreem, and Shreem, the three gunas merge together to make the Omkara, along with the Omkara, which is the Turiya Tattva, the fourth state. So it is called in the Mandukya Upanishad. And that Om is the secret which is revealed to us in a form of Shri Guru. So the Shri Guru, who is either the Atma itself, which is Om itself, or the person before us who we have vowed to surrender ourselves completely to, or who we look up to for motivation, for inspiration and wisdom. What is the purpose of this? What does this Sri Guru how does he benefit us, he or she? It is by doing pratipadana, by showing us the way to the secrets, by unraveling the secrets of what truly Aim, Hreem, Shreem, and Om actually are in our own subjective reality. So that is called the Gudhartha, the royal secret, the most concealed of secrets, is shown to us in our own experience, not just conceptually like what is happening right now. It is in our own experience. If it is shown, then the agent who allowed this to happen, this phenomenon to happen, is called the Sri Guru. And these are called the Mahavibhutis, the great unravelments. Vibhuti means an unravelment. It's also called the Vyahritis. It is unraveling Om itself in multiplicity. Om is one. Aim, Hreem, Shreem represent the plurality. Just as there is gold, and that gold, when molten and turned into different primary ornaments, let's say one is bangle, another is a necklace, and another is, let's say, some spear. So that these three fundamental creations, the first primordial creations, are said to be the Mahavibhutis. So this, who can bring into our own subjective experience, is very the Sri Guru. We bow down before him. Let's chant it once again. ऐङ्कार ह्रीङ्कार रहस्य युक्त श्रीङ्कार गूढार्थमहाविभूत्या ओङ्कारमर्म प्रतिपादिनीभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्याम्. Would anybody like to add, delete, or comment about this?
Is this Guru Mangala shloka is only specific to this, or it's a general?
It's a general shloka, Ari. It can be used anywhere.
Okay. That's
Okay.
very
Dhanyawad. Astu. Let's now begin with our actual stotram, which is the Shivananda Lahari.
I have one.
Yes, Ari.
Like each of the shlokas are composed by Shri Adi Shankaracharya in specific situations, just like Kanakadara Stotram. And like that, do we have any such information about this Shivananda Lahari? In what instance and what occasion? Anything else?
I am not particularly aware of this, but let me get back to you in the next class, ma'am, about this. Astu. Let us start. कलाभ्यां चूडालङ्कृतशशिकलाभ्यां निजतपः फलाभ्यां भक्तेषु प्रकटितफलाभ्यां भवतु मे शिवाभ्यामस्तोकत्रिभुवनशिवाभ्यां हृदि पुनः भवाभ्यामानन्दस्फुरदनुभवाभ्यां नतिरियम् कलाभ्यां चूडालङ्कृतशशिकलाभ्यां निजतपः फलाभ्यां भक्तेषु प्रकटितफलाभ्यां भवतु मे शिवाभ्यामस्तोकत्रिभुवनशिवाभ्यां हृदि पुनः भवाभ्याम् आनन्दस्फुरदनुभवाभ्यां नतिरियम्. प्रथम श्लोक एषः. It starts off with the very first vyanjana, which is ka, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, jha, nya, and so on. Right? So it starts off with ka. It says kalabhyam. Now, bhyam is the common trope of vibhakti that we see here. Therefore, we know it is, which vachana is this? Bhyam.
You are asking about the Vibhakti
We-
Pratyaya or something?
Yes. Which vachana? Ekavachana, dvivachana, or bahuvachana is this?
It's a Bahuvachana.
Actually, it is dvivachana. Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyah. So, bhyam is dvivachana. It refers to two things which are being talked about. There are two things, and of course, they are Shiva and Shakti. The Mata Pitaro, Jagataf Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. They are the eternal couple, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the yin and the yang, the Prakriti and the Purusha, which are being talked about. And with a single shloka, he dedicates his namana, his namaskaras to both the Shiva and Shakti, Shakti and Shiva, by saying, Kalabhyam Chudalankrita Shashikalabhyam. They are adorned in their chuda. In their chuda. What is chuda? Chuda is the head. Chuda Alankrita Shashikala. Shashikala here is not the politician. It's Shashikala is a part of the moon. A part of the moon is called Shashikala. So in the head of both of these, there is the shining moon, because both Parvati as well as Shiva share the moon, and they are Kala, they are parts of each other. As you say, the better half, right? The husband is called the better half, as so is the wife. So the parts of each other, Kalabhyam, Chudalankrita Shashikalabhyam. See again the repetition, Kala Kala. And Nijatapah Phalabhyam. Bhakteshu Nijatapah Phalabhyam. Prakatita Phalabhyam Bhavatu me Bhavatu. Let them come before me in the form of Prakatita Phala, as the ones who have come as a resultant of the Nijatapah Phala. The bhaktas, the devotees are performing Nija Tapaha. They are performing penance, a very austere penance they are performing. And as a result of this, or you could think of this in another way, that to give them the result, to give them the result of their hard work, they have become Prakatita. They have come in their form, both of them. And so be they before me. Let them also come before me. Similarly, Shiva Bhyam. And who are these people being referred to? They are called Shiva and Shiva. So Shakti is also referred to as Shiva. Shiva Swadhina Vallabha. Correct? In the Lalita Sahasranama, one of her names is called Shiva. And Shiva, of course, is the male deity. Shivabhyam Astoka Tribhuvana Shivabhyam. Here, Shiva here refers to that they are bestowing auspiciousness. They are bestowing auspiciousness, Mangala. They are doing Mangala to Tribhuvana, Astoka Tribhuvana. It's not just a little auspiciousness. Astoka means abundant, unlimited. They are raining down their auspiciousness on the entire three worlds. Hridi, Punaha, Bhavabhyam. And both of them are referred to as Bhava and Bhava. Bhavabhyam, Anandaspurad Anubhavabhyam. And what are they uh, enjoying? These two people, this couple, Anandaspurad Anubhavabhyam. They are deeply immersed in the experience of bubbling Ananda. Anandaspurad Anubhavabhyam. And to these two people, Iyam Natihi. This prostration, this shloka is being dedicated to, where me hridi, in my own heart. I am not, for the sake of showing others or proving to others, going to do a big ritual of father and mother. I am going to just do hridi punaha natihi. I shall bow down to you in my own little heart, blessed heart, again and again. Let's read it again. Kalabhyam Chudalankrita Shashikalabhyam Nijatapah Phalabhyam Bhakteshu Prakatita Phalabhyam Bhavatu me Shivabhyam Astokatribhuvana Shivabhyam Hridi Punaha Bhavabhyam Anandasphuradनुभवाभ्याम Natiriyam. Any questions? Any part of this stanza that you did not understand?
Can you summarize the whole?
Yes.
In one,
Yes.
We got the word by word breakup.
Right.
Summarize that.
Right. So this is the summary. Kalabhyam, let these prostrations be to the two Shivas. It is Shiva and Parvati who. So this is the main gist. First, there's a Kriya Pada that Natihi Iyam. I am prostrating to both of these. That's the entire summary, a one-line summary. But there is more description. That is how all kavyas are. I mean, it would not be a kavya if there are hardly any adjectives. So the verb, the kartru, the karma, and the kriya can be summarized in the first line. That I, in my heart, I'm bowing down to both Shiva and Shakti. Now, who are these Shiva and Shakti and what are they doing? What are they up to? This is as follows. They are parts of each other. They have the crescent moon on their foreheads. They are the personifications or they are the embodiment of the tapas Shakti that is present in the bhaktas. Then they bestow those fruits, those results, whatever karma phala is to be given to the devotees. They bring blessedness into the entire triad worlds. They are bhava. Bhava means existence itself. And what are they doing? They are reveling within each other with bubbling ecstasy. So all in all, this introduces us to who we are going to talk about. Every grantha starts off first by, just as in management, you have vision and mission, right? So the vision here is of these two Shivas, and this descriptors shows the vision. What is the mission? The entire purpose of this entire stotram is natihi, is to prostrate, is to completely surrender, is to completely fall flat before this great tattva. So that is natihi, that is the mission. And what is the vision? Where do I want to get to? I want to get to this blessed place of the two Shivas who have been described as follows. Is this clear? Astu. One of you please read the shloka once again. Usha Arye, Gayatu.
Kalabhyam Chudalankrita. No, I'll not be saying with the, raga or
No
sonatas
worries, no worries.
till I get practice. Kalabhyam Chudalankrita Shashi Kalabhyam Nijapattapaha Kalabhyam Bhakteshu Prakatita Phalabhyam Bhavatu Me Shivabhyam Astoka Tribhuvana Shivabhyam Shriti Punaha Bhavabhyam Ananda Spuradanu Bhavabhyam Natiriyam.
Perfect. Samichinam.
One more point here.
Amari, padatu.
This Shivananda Lahari, is it Shiva Ananda Lahari or it just Shiva Ananda Lahari?
Ah, very, very interesting question.
Shiva Ram. So is
Correct.
it like first stanza itself?
Mm,
It's like for both. It's like completing both of them and then doing the namaskar. So it's
wow.
not just Shiva. I think it's Shiva and it's like Savarna Tika Sati.
Correct. Yes. Wow, I mean, this is a very interesting observation. I had not thought about this. Correct. And maybe he meant it to be both ways. So you can either put it as Shiva Ananda or Shiva Ananda. Correct, because both of them are allowed in Savarna Dirgha. Mm. I mean, this is so beautiful. I'm very, very surprised and pleasantly happy. Shivananda Lahari, correct. Because Saundarya Lahari did not mention about Parvati explicitly. So she was just in her aspect of beauty. It was called Saundarya Lahari. But here, yes, Shiva can be taken both ways. Shiva or Shiva. Wonderful. Let's go ahead. गलन्ति शम्भो त्वच्चरितसरितः किल्बिषरजो दलन्ति धीकुल्या सरणिषु पतन्ति विजयताम् दिशन्ति संसारभ्रमणपरितापोपशमनम् वसन्ति मच्चेतो हृदभुवि शिवानन्दलहरी. So it says galanti shambho he shambho त्वत् चरित सरितः किल्बिषरजः गलन्ति अस्ति. त्वत् चरित सरित is stream. Sarit is a stream or a river. From your feet, tvat charita saritah kilbisharajah galanti धीकुल्यासरणिषु पतन्ति vijayatam. Let Shivananda Lahari be victorious. That is basically the main idea. Shivananda Lahari vijayatam. May victory be to Shivananda Lahari. That is the stream which has Shiva's Ananda itself as the waves. So that is the literal meaning of Shivananda Lahari. Nadi, ya nadi, yasyaha lahariyah. Lahari means a wave. Yasyaha lahariyah, Shivasya Anandah eva. Saeva, Saeva Shivananda Lahari. So it is imagined to be a river which is flowing, and we are saying praise be unto the river Vijayatam. That is that is how you pick out the Kartruk Pada and the Kriya Pada. Now let's look at the other descriptors. What is she doing? She, that is this river, is Galanti. She is she is strutting. Galanti, where Tvat Charita Saritaha Kilbisha Rajaha. So now Shiva has walked the path and carved out the path in the Himalayas. So this river is Kilbisha Rajaha. It is engulfing, it is Galanti, it is engulfing all the impurities which are present on the path. Basically, it means, see, so Shivanala is not any particular river, it's not a physical river. It is a river, it's a current of Ananda which is flowing within us. So, within us, whatever kilbishas are there, Rajas means particles, are getting engulfed, they are getting overwhelmed. Then, Dhi Kulya Saranishu Patanti. It is following, it's flowing down where Dhi, that is intellect, Kulya is, uh, you know, wells, 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 Sarani are lakes. It is flowing into wells and little wells, tanks, and lakes of our intellects. So it is intellect 1, intellect 2, intellect 3. See, there are 4 people here. So all of our little intellects, our cups, are getting filled by this Shivananda. Dishanti samsara brahmana paritapa upashamanam. Upashamanam, it is providing relief to what? Paritapa, to the exhaustion and the scorching heat which has come because of what? By samsara brahmana. By to people who have been toiling and toiling in this samsara chakra, who have been going round and round and round in cyclical and getting nowhere in life. So those are the samsara brahmana paritapa. It is a great much exhaustion which has come. And upashamanam. So by drinking this water from this sacred river called Shivananda Lahari, there will be an upashamana. There will be a cessation of such exhaustion. And it is showing the way for that. Dishanti is extending itself and lending itself as a panacea for the exhaustion of mundanity. Vasanti mat cheto hrada bhuvi. It is coming and flowing into a pit, into a delta. And what is that delta region? That delta is mat chetah hrada. Hrada is a delta. Bhuvi means into the land of this delta, into the embankment of my own chetas. Chetas means my own chitta, my own mind, in my own consciousness. Vasanti, that all that river emerging from Shiva's Charita Saritaha, from emerging from Shiva's foot, has engulfed all the impurities. It has flown into the my intellect, the little cups of intellect of the bhaktas. It has brought great much peace into the lives into our lives, which were previously exhausted by going in rounds in samsara, and finally it has come to flow and reside permanently in my heart. This is the most beautiful metaphor of what Shivananda Lahari will do to us. So, second shloka is talking about the benefit. Usually, stotrams will have phalashruti towards the end, correct? So, this is a very nice shloka because you will see that it actually doesn't have a phalashruti towards the end. The second shloka itself is treated as the phalashruti. It is talking about how this river of Shivananda Lahari is going to benefit us by removing our impurities, negativity, by filling up our minds with fulfillment, by removing the exhaustion from our lives, and residing permanently in our own hearts, meaning there is some serenity, some sacred, eternal, sanatana serenity which will sit in our hearts upon truly allowing this river of Shivananda Lahari to flow within. Let's look at the summary before we open the floor for any questions. O Shambho, Shambho of course is the name for Shiva. The meandrous streams of your legends cleansing, Charita can also literally mean the legends, the folks, the folk tales rather. All your stories, it goes through this Shivananda Lahari goes through all the thickets of your stories, all the swarms of your stories, of your thick stories. They are very dense. And then it cleanses the impurities and muck, enters into several mind lakes, that is, all our listeners and the pathakas, and it shows people towards a place which is the complete cessation of all hardships and toils in the world. Let it flow into my mind heart, and uh, let there be victory to such waves of bliss of Shiva. This is the summarized crisp meaning of the second shloka. So ultimately, what is it? It is talking about the use, the benefit, and how Shivananda Lahari will impact us in our lives. Because, see, first question was what? Second question is why? Why should I even read this? What is it and why should I read this? So, first, we talked about what it is. It is a nati, it is a prostration, it is a salutation. Punaha punaha natihi, it is a salutation again and again. And to whom we have already talked about it. Second is why? Why should I read this? It is for this reason. Questions, comments, or if you need me to clarify anything, or if you wish to add anything more, please speak up. Fine then. Usharye, कृपया गायतु.
शम्भोत्पच्चरितसरितः किल्बिषरजो दलन्ति धीकुल्या सरणिषु पतन्ति विजयताम् दिशन्ति संसारभ्रमणपरितापोपशमनं वसन्ति मच्चेतो भुवि शिवानन्दलहरी.
Any questions? Okay. And we saw that the second verse itself, everywhere there was Strilinga Padam. Galanti, Dalanti. She is doing it continuously. It's called the Shatru Pratyaya in Samskritam. For the present continuous tense, it is still happening even now. Just imagine Shankaracharya saying that. Because he also understands that it is a continuous process of cleansing. One will not get done with it forever. It will be continuous churning up of emotions, cleansing them and putting them back down. And it's a very interesting thing because here Shivananda Lahari, because it is a Strilinga Padam, Lahari is a Strilinga Padam. all the adjectives thereby also were in Strilingam, and of course, even the imagery, the comparison was also with a Nadi, which is in most cases taken to be a feminine word. So in the first verse, we saw the use of Dvivachana, correct? And the Shlesha, the pun of Shiva and Shiva. In the second, we saw a very nice use of Strilinga Padam. And now let's look at Napumsakalinga Padam. त्रयीवेद्यं हृद्यं त्रिपुरहरमाद्यं त्रिनयनम् जटाभारोदारं चलदुरगहारं मृगधरम् महादेवं देवं मयि सदय भावं पशुपतिं चिदालम्बं साम्बं शिवमतिविडम्बं हृदि भजे. Please pardon me, it is not Napumsakalingam, it is Dvivachana Prayogaha. It seems like Napumsakalingam, but it is not. It's talking about how Trayi Vedyam. So let's first identify the Kriya Padam. Bhaje, I worship, I accept, I receive. Whom? Shivam. Where? Kutra Hridi. Aham Shivam Hridi Bhaje. That's it. That's the entire gist of this shloka. That's the skeleton of this shloka. Aham Shivam Hridi Bhaje. I shall worship and accept Shiva in my heart. But what Shiva? That is where all the descriptors come. First is Trayi Vedyam. Vedyaha, Shivaha, Vedyaha. He is to be understood. He can be understood. Katham Trayi, Trayi Vidyaya. What is Trayi? Trayi refers to Rig, Yajus, and Sama. Rig, Yajus, and Sama, which is basically the Vedas. So Veda Vedyam, that is the meaning. One who is to be understood only through, who can be understood only through the true meanings hidden within the mantras of the Vedas. Hridyam, he who resides in our hearts is one meaning. Second is one who is most pleasant. Hridya. Hridyavagide anta antivena. It is most pleasant. Tripuraharam. He is the destroyer of the Tripuras. Adyam. The primordial. Trinayanam. He has three eyes. Jatabhara Udaram. He has long mats of jata, of matted locks. Chalad Uragaharam. Hara, he has a hara of Uraga. Uraga is snake. Chalat, and that snake is not dead. It is living. It's hissing and it is biting. Chalad Uraga Haram. Mrigadharam. He also holds in one of his hands the deer, and symbolic of the mind which is playing about in his hand. Mahadevam, the greatest of all gods, who is the Deva, who is God itself. Mai Sadaya Bhavam, he who holds Sadaya Bhavam, Daya Bhavam, who holds compassion and sympathy for my cause. Pashupatim, who is the Lord of all creatures, of all animalistic instincts. Chidalambam, and his alambana is support. He is reclining on the sofa called Chit. He is reclining on consciousness itself. And Sambam. Samba is who is along with Amba, with my mother. Who is along with my mother? My father. Correct? Which is Shiva. Sa Ambam. Ambayasaha iti Sambaha. Sambam. Ati Vidambam. He who is very weird, very quirky. Ati Vidamba. Vidamba is quirk. Who is very quirky. We will see how he is very quirky in the verses to follow. Chidalambam Sambam Shivam Ati Vidambam Hridi Bhaje. I shall worship in my heart. So this is basically talking about who this Shiva is. Tayi Vedyam हृद्यं त्रिपुरहरम् आद्यं त्रिनयनं जटाभारोदारं चलदुरगहारं मृगधरं महादेवं देवं मयि सदयभावं पशुपतिं चिदालम्बं साम्बं शिवम् अतिविडम्बं हृदि भजे. Of course, it is very obvious that there is an alliteration of everywhere. Apart from that, one can see how the third verse is talking about who. So first was what, second was why, third verse is talking about who. Who are we? Who am I worshipping? The first and the second line talk about the Puranic aspects of Shiva, which is basically how he did the Tripura Samhara. He is called Adi Yogi, also Adya. He is the first Guru, Adi Guru, and the first being to be created, I mean, to exist. Adyam, and then he has three eyes, and then there is a form. He has the Jata, most popular motifs of Shiva being the Jata, the snake, the deer in his hand, three eyes. Then he's the Pashupati. He has a host of his entourage of all ganas and the pashus around him. Then finally, he is in this very weird, very quirky description. Still, Adi Shankaracharya puts an Advaitic word. He says he is Chidalambam. It's a very beautiful word. Chitta Alambam, one who reclines back or who has the support of consciousness itself. Why is that so? If you remember, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham comes in the Nirvana Shatkam. So who this Shiva is Chit Ananda Eva. Chidananda Rupaha. Shiva is of the form of awareness and bliss of Chit and Ananda. So it is very important. Why? Because this form of Shiva itself is also just supported by our consciousness. And this Shankaracharya is very subtly pointing it out to us. Because in most cases, what happens is there is a certain fanaticism which sets in when we forget that the personal God is there for our personal minds. As long as we have a personal view, as long as we think I am Sudarshan, I am this person with so and so qualities, with this degree, with that job, with these many with this fathers and mother, and with these many relatives, and so on and so forth. This is my life story. My age is this, and so on. So all this bio data that we have in our minds, and all the story that we weave of ourselves, this is the personal perspective called the Vyavahara. And as so long as our mind thinks of ourselves in this limited context, the mind cannot therefore think of an entity which is limitless. Therefore, the conception also is of Shiva with the Jata, with the moon, with the serpent, and with the Trishula as the Tripurantaka. Then all the snakes. Then as the Pashupati holding the deer in the hand, and then sitting in meditation, calm meditation, all of this depiction is therefore for the mind which thinks in a personality sense, which is still fixed at the limited sphere, in the limited dimension. And so to break that mind to a greater possibility, break in not in a very violent sense, but break as in break open the mind for a higher possibility, there is a necessity of ati vidamba, of something which is very peculiar, something which is very weird and strange, something which is beyond the ordinary logic of our minds. So that it is still in the purview of the mind, yet it is slightly weird. It's still a possibility that the mind can conceive, yet it is not exactly what the mind can conceive. So it is somewhere on such gray areas. And that is basically the idea behind the physical description of Shiva. But in essence, he is Chidalambha. It is that tattva which is reclining on consciousness, which means that which is supported by consciousness, that Ishvara tattva which is still brought out by Brahman, which is Godhood itself. This is the idea of the third verse. And how do I as a jiva relate to this Ishvara? It is through the exchange of emotion called as sadaya bhavam. That there is a daya, there is an emotion. What is connecting me to this? Okay, so what if there is an alien sitting with all these three eyes, four heads, five heads, who did this and this with a jata? What is it to me, right? So it is that my sadaya bhavam, this alien, if you want to call him that, is still so powerful because he is Mahadeva and he has the capacity for compassion and sympathy towards us, which is why, which is the hook that we can relate to, which is the hook. Because most people, right, we either are in some situation, some predicament, which is when we go to God, or when we want something, we go to God, which is beyond our control. Third, or when we want to understand the deeper aspects of life, or if we want more wisdom, we go to Him. In most cases, it is only one of these three only. And then fourth aspect is when very rare, the rarest among rare people actually realize that Godhood within themselves. Apart from that, the most people, we commoners, we will approach God for any of these three aforesaid reasons. Either to help us in our struggles, second is to give us something, third is to show us the path and knowledge and guide us. That is artha, which is when we are struggling, dhanarthi, when we want some material growth, material pleasures or desires, and then when there is jnana, jignasa. These are the three fundamental requirements uh, of a mind. So there is, in a state of tamas, when it is undergoing pain and agony, there is the artata. Then when it is in rajas, when it has conquered its pains but now wants something else more, then it is in the state of rajas, which is when we ask for things of life, for a job, for a partner, for for some more money, a new car, or let my boss be happy with me. Any of this is dhanarthi. And then there is, when the mood of the mind is in sattva, we will ask for some philosophical questions of life. Then we will start showing bhakti. Then we will start showing, some selfless service to others. All of this is when we are in the sattva. So for each of these three, for fulfilling each of these three needs, the Ishvara, the God who we have conceived, must be capable of doing that first. That is why he is Mahadeva. Next, when he is capable, if he doesn't give any of these, if he is not benevolent, then it is no use to me, correct? So he is benevolent, as is indicated by the word daya. So he is benevolent and omnipotent. He is strong, he is capable of giving, and he wants to give. He is predisposed to helping me out. So these are two important characteristics of any religious god. In any religion you think of, he or she must be benevolent and omnipotent. Otherwise, then there is no use of God. See, our parents are also, they have daya in us, for us, but they don't have the strength to help us out. And there are great politicians with power who can help, who can with a blink of an eye take away our problems of life. But still, they don't have daya towards us. So when these two come together, that is daya with shakti, that is when Bhagavat Tattva comes into being. Any comments? Okay.
2 point here.
Yes,
If
sorry.
no one has any questions.
No, no, please go on.
Sadaya Bhavam. Is it applicable to Shivoham or Aham Brahmasmi state?
Mm,
I mean, if it is the connector or is that is the bhava with the karuna or otherwise daya, if Shiva is destroying or blessing us. But when there is a state of aham brahmasmi, is there any bhava, daya bhava?
Uh, I mean, of course, I don't have any experiential knowledge, but from what I have read, it is not present. So, in the state of Aham Brahmasmi, of Shivoham, then there is absolutely no bhava at all because the world itself, along with the Ishvara, Jiva, and the Jagat, do not exist. There is only Brahman. So, in that state, there is no uh, two people to have an exchange of emotion. There is no Ishvara, there is no Jiva also. So in that state, as far as I have read, it is not there, Ari.
The question is, if through daya bhava as a connector to connect to Shiva and then with daya and a bhakti marga, bhakti way, if a human being is getting what he wants, then what is the like role of a kriya in that case or karma in that case?
Correct. It's a very important question of how much providence, how much interference by God is there versus how karma will function. It's still an unanswered question as far as I know. But many philosophies have tried to answer this and justify one way or the other. Because there are contradicting verses in the Bhagavad Gita which says, Nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuho ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. It says, where the Vibhu, that is Ishvara or God, doesn't participate by even taking any iota of punya or papa of anybody. He or she doesn't interfere with the workings of karma. Whatever prakriti tam niyokshati. Whatever prakriti, that is whatever the karma law is, and whatever nature has intended for us by cause and consequence, it will take us forth, is what some of the verses say. Whereas the other verses, like you have rightly asked, also talk of how if we surrender to that Bhagavan, he or she will take complete care of us, and whatever yoga kshemam vahamyaham, all yoga and kshema that is needed for the jiva will be carried forth and be protected by the God, is what a few other verses say. Because there is an inherent contradiction in the scripture itself, there is no one answer, there is no unambiguous answer. We can think about it, it's like kind of food for thought. I would say it's like 50-50. Some cases, God can interfere and will want to interfere. At other places, he says, if I interfere too much, no, then I will be setting a wrong precedent. And then karma itself will become useless. So he will let at other times karma to take place, is what I can just, kind of childishly think of. But you can answer it better, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, there is one more Purandara shlokas like Kirtana or something like that.
Mm.
Or otherwise, there is one small story saying that the entire life he was not actually reciting anything about Bhagwan or something like that. But he just names his children in the different verses of names of Lord Bhagavan Vishnu. And at the end, in the deathbed, he just calls his son as Vishnu, Narayana, or otherwise Krishna, whatever. Just because of Namasmarana, he gets Swarga. In such cases, what it gives a precedence?
Correct. Yeah, that's true. Uh, so that fellow's name is actually called Ajamila, and though the gati, they do say he got swarga or he got some sadgati. It says he was actually born again, but in a better family. But yeah, the question still remains correct. All the papa that he did in that life was kind of forgiven and he got a better life. So how is that any justice? That's true. Any others who want to answer this question? How much role does God have to play in our life? How much meddling can he do with our fate? He or she? Okay. Anyway, this is a question for that we shall take to our graves, I think, because I mean, no satisfactory answer, at least I have ever come across. But yeah, it's a very nice thought experiment to ponder over because it's like again Shiva and Shakti. I always come back to that point. Shiva is like God and Shakti is like the nature, that is karma. She, though we think mother is, kind of benevolent and forgiving, as Kalina, she is like karma. She is completely relentless. She will not forgive, unforgiving. Whatever is like an accountant, whatever your karma, whatever you have thought, it's going to come back to us. So it's like because we are all interconnected, like cells of a neural network. We are all interconnected. If this cell pushes forward in this direction, that is, if it tries to harm this cell, let's say this A and B are there, because we are all so interconnected, I am going to push in this direction. And after some time, the energy, this kinetic energy, whatever, that tension is going to come back. It is going to flow through the network and then come back and hit me back. So that is how I visualize karma as. Because of this very presence of Prakriti being an interconnected web of all souls and of all phenomenon, it is like almost like a mechanical instrument. They have no say in the matter. Whatever I think wrong or good or bad, positive or negative, whatever action is there, there is no judgment. Whatever action is there, there will be a consequence. That is all it says, karma. So if there is what we call as good, whatever in our perspective that good may happen back to us. But again, those definitions of good and bad are kind prone to change. But this physical phenomenon is what I kind of try to visualize it as. So in such a network, sometimes God may interfere, that Shiva may interfere, like in the case he did with Markandeya. So Markandeya, we'll come to that story in a while. Markandeya, though he was destined to die at 16 years of age, and Yama actually comes there. So it is again a clash between God and karma, between how much role Shiva, Ishvara has versus Jagat has. That is Purusha and Prakriti again. So there, in such incidences, because of Markandeya's overwhelming devotion, God did facilitate and uh, bestow, make a pardon, make an exception to him, and he intervened, so to speak. In most cases, he just lets Prakriti take care of us. So, where exactly, under what circumstances, I am not sure, and to what extent God will interfere, I'm not sure. You guys can think about and let me know soon. So the summary is: I worship in my heart Shiva. First, he is who is noble through the Vedas, who is pleasurable. So it's not dry knowledge, basically. That is why the word Hridya was inserted by Shankaracharya. I mean, then who destroyed the three cities. He is the foremost, the primal lord. Three eyes. He has expansive hair locks. He has hissing serpents in his necklace. He carries a deer. He holds a deer. Is the god amongst gods, the most divine, full of compassion, the lord of animals, Pashupati, who expands or reclines on consciousness, on our awareness itself, and who has with him the consort, which is Parvati, blessing us as the father, the universal father and mother. Let's go ahead. I hope this is not boring you. That's why these discussions are a great chance for you to guys, speak up and share your views with all of us. सहस्रं वर्तन्ते जगति विबुधाः क्षुद्रफलदा न मन्ये स्वप्ने वा तदनुसरणं तत्कृतफलम् हरिब्रह्मादीनामपि निकटभाजामसुलभम् चिरं याचे शम्भो शिव तव पदाम्भोज भजनम्. First, let's identify the Kriya Pada. Sahasram vibudhaha kshudra phaladaha jagati vartante. This is the first vakya. Kshudra phaladaha vibudhaha sahasram jagati vartante. There are many gods, vibudhaha, many bright intellectual gods, but they will only give kshudra phaladaha. They will only give small results. Kshudra means limited. Maybe tomorrow I want my boss to give me a promotion. So that is a kshudra phala. Not to say that it is anything less for a person who is about to get fired. It would still mean a lot, but uh, compared to the big phala of moksha, it is a very small desire. So there are many other gods, all these grahas and Agni, Vayu, Indra, all these gods who will give such small things to us. Sahasram vartante, and there are thousands of such gods, is what he says. Na manye swapneva tadanu saranam tatkrita phalam. I will never, even in my dream, na manye swapneva, not even in my dreams will I ever think of tadanu saranam. I will never follow them. Tat krita phalam, for the sake of getting those small results. It's not that I'm following them out of my own desire or my own genuine love for them. Most people will follow such grahas and all these only for the phala. And nothing wrong, but he says, I will not do that. Na manye swapneva tadanusaranam tat krita phalam. It will never come to me. I am not of that kind who will accept a god, another god for just some bag of rice or for protecting my own, foreskin or whatever. I am not going to worship any other god just for the sake of going to heavens with 72 virgins and so on. I am going to worship only you, O Shiva, O Shambhu. For what? Because you are Hari Brahmadinam api Nikata Bhajam Asulabham. Because it is not that you are so accessible like Surya, all these grahas, Indradi Devatas, that I will do one homa and you will become Pratyaksha. No, you are not even so Sulabha. Because you are not even Sulabha to Hari Brahma and the others. You are not even Sulabha. You are not even accessible to Hari Brahma, that is Vishnu, Brahma, and the other gods itself, who are said to be your Nikata Bhaja, who are said to be your closest companions. Even for them, you are so inaccessible. Then I am going to seek you. Why? Because I just want Tava Pada Ambhoja Bhajanam. I want just yache, aham yache, I beg of you, chiram yache, I shall keep seeking you. I will not just ask you once and because you didn't give, I will not, refuse and go away. I will not make a big long face and go away. Chiram yache, if you want me to keep begging to the end of the kalpa, I shall be doing that. O Shambhu, chiram yache, Shambho, Shiva, tava, padam bhoja bhajanam. Tava, your pada ambhoja. Ambhoja is lotus, that which is born in ambas. Pada ambhoja bhajanam yache. I wish, I beg of you, I seek to become a receptacle, bhajanam, of your lotus feet. I want your divine lotus feet, which are like the lotus, but the petals of a lotus. I want you in the bowl or this plate, tate of my mind. I want you to keep your legs, which represent divine cosmic energy, the one-fourth of your cosmic energy. I want you to place it within me. And I want nothing else. And I shall vow to you that never in my life will I ever follow another god for the sake of getting something out of them. And I am still going to, and this is proof that I am going to access you who are so inaccessible to even your own closest buddies, to your closest comrades. You are so inaccessible, then which means I definitely know I am not going to have a chance or an opportunity to get an access to you very soon. But still, I will keep doing it. Why? Because I just want to become genuinely a receptacle to your grace, to your divine energy. So it's a very nice, subtle, and you will see this happening more and more as he is just conversing directly with Shiva. There is no other middleman here. He just goes on, brings all his emotions together and directs it towards Shiva. He is giving him a proof also. See, I am not going to betray your trust. I am not going to leave you after you give me something and go off behind some other person. I am not going to be a cheater. I'm not going to be an infidel. uh, my love is genuine. I am very trustworthy, and he's taking a subtle jibe at Shiva that you who are so inaccessible to even your so-called close companions, what you will give me nothing. I know that, but still I want to come to you. This is the subtle meaning and very beautiful emotion he brings out in this verse. Did you understand? Any questions?
Does that mean that this particular shloka force is like how long we are going to do? Like, we have to do bhajan, I mean, smarana.
Mm, I didn't get the question, Ari. Can you please repeat?
It's the observation.
Hmm.
First shloka is talking about whom we are addressing and how they are like represented,
Correct.
and how, and third one is how we are going to do it,
Mm.
where and all. And this is about how long.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. A very nice observation. Correct.
So there are 5 I's in thing, like 5 W and 1 H.
Correct.
What,
Yes,
where,
yes.
what, where, which, and stuff like that.
Correct, correct.
So this might be how long to be done.
Very, very interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is answered by Chiram. Very right. Hmm. So this bhajana is only for lifelong. It's to be done lifelong, Chiram, eternally. Because the motivation here is not tatkrita phalam, it's not to get anything out of a god by using that god as an instrument, but it is just pure bhakti. That is correct. Very nice. I mean, this is why we need all such discussions to happen. New insights, inquisitive observations should come out in this journey. Anybody else would like to add something? Please speak up. Okay. If anything, always just unmute yourself and speak. There's no one stopping you. A quick summary. There are thousands of wise deities who bestow meager boons in this world. Not even in my dreams do I once think of following or praying them to seek any favor from them. I only beg at length at your feet, O Shambhu or Shiva, for bestowing a place for me at your graceful feet. This grace of being at thy feet is rare even for those close companions such as Vishnu, Brahma, and the others. I ask of you such a boon. अस्तु अग्रे गच्छामः स्मृतौ शास्त्रे वैद्ये शकुनकविता गानफणितौ पुराणे मन्त्रे वा स्तुतिनटनहास्येष्वचतुरः कथं राज्ञां प्रीतिर्भवति मयि कोऽहं पशुपते पशुं मां सर्वज्ञप्रथितकृपया पालय विभो. And for those who here can understand Samskrta, I mean, so far at least you've already relished how beautiful, wonderful poetry it is, heart-warming poetry. And here another beautiful comparison is being made. O Vibho, O God Almighty, Pashum Mam Palaya, Mam, He Sarvajna, Mam Pashum iti Matva Palaya. Just look after me because you're Pashupati, right? Hey Pashupate, you are the Lord of all creatures, right? So think of me as one of your pets. Think of me as one of your pets. And Kripaya Palaya, with great compassion and fervor, as we would look after our pets with affection, so should you also look after me because I am also your pet. I am also willingly becoming your pet. So you should now pet me, caress me, coax me, and keep me with yourself. This is the fundamental meaning. Let's look at the other words. Smritau, why? Because I'm a pet. Why should I become a pet to you? Because Smritau, Shastre, Vaidye, Shakuna Kavita, Gana, Phanitau, Purane, Mantre, Stuti, Natana, Hasyeshu, Aham Achaturaha Asmi. I am so stupid. I am so unintelligent. I am dumb. uh, that achaturaha, I am so dumb, neither am I well literate in the smritis, in the shastras, in the Vaidya, Shakuna Kavita, Shakuna, that is astronomy, or Kavita, or Gana, or in talking very wittily, nor in Puranas, in the mantras, or in making poems, or in dancing and in acting, or in making any comedy. So I am actually stupid in all aspects of knowledge. I have no wit, I have no memory, I have no rational thinking, I have no critical thinking, I have definitely no prowess, demonstrable prowess in the scriptures, nor in any of these literary activities. So I am basically dumb. So what? Why should we hold a pet? Because it is dumber than us. If a pet starts talking back to us, will we ever keep it as a pet? That is why we don't even want children nowadays. Because children will anyway grow up and will start back talking to us. So we have adopted pets in our homes. They are dumber than us. They will keep licking our feet and kind of very good to us. Once in a while, it will shit here and there, but that is a compromise that we are willing to do. So, I am going to become a pet like that, O Shiva, to you, because Katham Rajna Priti Bhavati. How will I be able to, how is there even a chance for the Raja to take pity on me, who is stupid in all aspects of intellectual inquiry and who has basically no profession, who is unfit, unemployable? What Rajna will do to me? What politician will give me power? I am nobody, and therefore, O Pashupati, Prathita Kripaya, with great compassionate love, with great expansive love, please for caress and pet me, thinking me to be one of your other pets. So this is a very humorous as well as very, if you actually look at this, it does go to a very great vein of humility to say that I am actually not capable of any of these things. So I have no other way. Gatistwam tvameka bhavani. So I have no knowledge, no mental prowess, no expertise in any neural activity nor physical activity. So I am basically, I am only dependent completely on you for 3 meals in a day. And the best thing to become is therefore a pet. I am going to become your pet because you're anyway you're called Pashupati, right? And to protect your name, that epithet of being a Pashupati, now you have to do Palana of me. This is Hey Sarvajna, O one who knows everything. Prathita Kripaya, with great expansive love and compassion, please palaya. Would you like to add anything?
So does that mean here, unless until if a person is like has attained the state of Aham Brahmasmi, should himself be considered as not completely knowledged, how much ever he has attained in whatever the jnana he has achieved, but total surrender?
Hmm. Very interesting question. So I think here, so we often try to conflate these two worldviews, these two margas of jnana and bhakti marga, though they are definitely interleaved at many places. But here, aham refers to the body. So the identity, the limited identity which we spoke of in the beginning of this Sudarshan with this and this degree and this job, this and this parents, XYZ, whatever that biodata that we have, Aadhaar that we have, all of that is the aham which is being spoken about here. The state of aham brahmasmi, that aham is said to be very different. It's a pulsation. It's not a psychological invention of the mind. So this XYZ, this Aadhaar number and this bank account balance and PAN number, all of that is a making up. It is the mind which has made up all of these stories and identities. And this made up identity is talking to the greater identity called Shiva to take it into its custody. So basically, this smaller identity is surrendering to the larger identity in this case. Even if this little XYZ has realized, so to speak, this Aham Brahmasmi Tattva, it is impossible for the Jiva to remain in that state of knowledge forever and also become a Jiva. You understand that? These are two contradictory, mutually exclusive realms. We can't have 2 feet, both are feet in two different boats because these two boats are one is a very high boat called Paramarthika boat, the metaphysical, and then there is the physical boat. So we cannot have our feet in both the boats. So at once, one at a time, either both our feet are in one of the boats, the upper or the lower boat, in the Paramarthika or the Vyavaharika Satta. This is how the Advaitic framework helps us understand this inherent contradiction. So even the Muni, such as Adi Shankaracharya himself, though he was very well, renowned for his knowledge and prowess and intellectual mm, unbeatable vigor, there is a certain modesty in him from, relative to the higher state to make him feel so dumb and stupid that this jiva, that is this body of Shankaracharya, is now willing to surrender completely to that higher state. So it's kind of two different perspectives, two different vantage points. The person who, I should not even say a person, the mind rather, which is absorbed in that ultimate sattvika state of samadhi, which is where you're saying that this aham brahmasmi realization is happening. Like I said already, there is no duality there at all. So there is no jiva, there is no jagat. I mean, in such a state, there is no smriti, shastra, vaidya, shakuna, nothing is there. So yeah, this is all I can think of.
Yeah, except that particular rarest of phase, and every GV has to surrender to Shiva. Is that?
Yes, 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 sir. Yeah, correct. True. And one other thing is, see, if Adi Shankaracharya himself is able to say this with so much modesty, and he has said it many times also in other stotras. न जानामि पुण्यं न जानामि तीर्थं न जानामि मुक्तिं लयं वा कदाचित् न जानामि भक्तिं व्रतं वापि मातः गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानी, he says in the Bhavani Ashtakam. I don't know what is Purana, I don't know what is Dharma, I don't know what is Veda, Shastras, Puranas, Mantras, Yoga, Samadhi, Dhyana, all these terms mean nothing to me, O mother. I have now come to a state where I know nothing. And from this state, I shall only surrender to you. There is only one Gati, which is you. So, tu is what, not thu, it is tu, that is tvam is what even Paramahamsa said. Mata Sharda Devi, the consort of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also says, only one who has gone through a lot of suffering in life and seen life in all its possibilities will finally come to the understanding, tu, that is only you, only you, only you. So, such a state where I am no longer present, this limited identity has been shrunk. So, basically, the idea of bhakti is this, like I said in the beginning. Bhakti, see, there's a limited identity, right? Now, the task is to eliminate this identity. Okay, this is the idea of any spiritual path. Bhakti seeks to do one thing. It will start constricting this circle. It will make it smaller, 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 smaller by humility. It will make it into a point and then it become vanishing. Right? This is the path of bhakti. Whereas jnana does the opposite thing. That's why it seems very contradictory in the beginning. Then jnana will start expanding this. It will make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until the screen itself will become insufficient to hold the identity and then it vanishes. The circle vanishes from the screen. This is the idea of jnana. Both of them accomplish the same ultimate objective. But by modesty, and it's not false modesty, by actually realizing that I don't know anything, one starts to constrict one's identity, make it smaller and smaller, and then it will become almost non-existent, insignificant before that vastness. Okay, clear? Summary. I am dull, I am inadept in any skill, not in the Smriti, Shastras, medicine, astrology, poetry, music, communication, mythology, mantras, praying, theater, or even comedy. I have absolutely no skill in any of these fields. So, God knows how I can be of any use to any even king because I will not get a job. In those days, a king would give a person a job, right? So, he would assign a value to you. A king, the means of giving a job and some money, is bringing some value into my life. And therefore, I have some value in my society, some status and standing in my society. But if I don't even have any skill as such, I can't even demonstrate and crack any interview. I am jobless, I am unemployed, and now what will I do? I am unemployable also, O Pashupati. So now you alone must take pity on me and take care of me like you would a pet. Ghatova. Okay, I think we have not been reading it. Sharya, please, Gayatu.
Smrito Shastro Vaidyo Vaidye Shakuna. Is that the same thing? Yeah. Shakuna Kavita Gana Panitau Purane Mantre Vastuti Natana Hasyesh Shvachaturaha Katam Ragnyam Priti Pritir Mai Koham Pashupate Pashum Mam Sarvagnya Prathita Krupaya Palaya Vibho.
Perfect. घटो वा मृत्पिण्डोऽप्यणुरपि च धूमोऽग्निरचलः पटो वा तन्तुर्वा परिहरति किं घोरशमनम् वृथा कण्ठक्षोभं वहसि तरसा तर्कवचसा पदाम्भोजं शम्भोर्भज परमसौख्यं व्रजसुधीः. This is a monologue, also called a soliloquy, where the speaker, the author, is speaking to himself. He's speaking to his own mind. Sudhihi, hey Sudhihi, oh good intellect, what are you doing? Bhaja Shambhoho Parama Saukhyam Padambhojam. That is the idea. Start taking refuge in the most ananda giving, Parama Saukhyam, the most fulfilling, most comforting, which is the Ambhoja, the lotus feet, the holy Tattva. So every time this metaphor of lotus will keep repeating, and don't get bored of it. I mean, initially I also got bored of why so much Ambhoja, why so many lotuses everywhere. But it's not any particular political party to, you know, it's not backing any political party, but it is just saying Ambhoja everywhere in the Kavya is representative of that chakra. So if you can think of it yogically, it is the chakra. The Sahasrara chakra is always referred to as the Padambhoja because that is the feet of the divine. The infinite has so-called kept its feet on the Padambhoja. It has kept its feet in the Sahasrara, which is the door to open into the infinitude. So there, at such a place, such a state, Parama Saukyam, which will give enormous happiness and the well-deserved fulfillment in our lives. Oh, intellect, start going there and don't do any of the above. What is the any of the above? Ghato va mritpindo pyenorapi cha dhumogni rachalaha pato va tanturva pariharati kim ghora shamanam vritha kanthakshobham vahasi tarasa tarkavachasa kanthakshobham vahasi. What have you been doing, O intellect? He's scolding, he's chiding his own intellect. He says, घटोवा मृत्पिंडः अपि अणुरः अणुः अपि च धूमः अग्निः अचलः. No, it's a very interesting set of words. Only those who are well versed in, at least introduced to philosophy, Indian philosophy, will be able to appreciate it. So, in the Indian philosophical systems, they always use these very standard classical examples of, see, God is like Ghata, which is he is the mrit, he is the sand or the soil which is used to make a ghata, and all the different containers, the different sizes of ghata, which are pots, are all made by the same creator using the same substance. So just because there are different shapes doesn't mean the material anyway is different. So that is how they use this argument to say God is also the same substance in all of us. Anuhu api, and then there is the discussion on the different kinds of atoms. What is the fundamental nature of the particle? What is the most fundamental particle of this universe, and so on. Then there is the Nyaya school, which talks about causation and effect. Karya and Karana. Dhuma, Agni, Achalaha. There is a hill from which smoke is emerging. So then what is the inference is the question. It means then there must be a forest fire. Otherwise, why would there be a smoke? So this is used as an example to demonstrate causation and consequence. Then there are other examples of material substance such as pata and tantu, that there is a fiber, and then there are the clothes made of fiber. There are different kinds. There's a sari, then there is a shirt, then there is a kurta, then there is a veshti. So all different clothes, but the same fiber of cotton. So it basically is asking, oh, intellect, stop thinking so much of philosophy where you're talking and doing hair splitting arguments of causation and consequence, correlation and causation of material. What is the material matter? What is the causal matter? What from what emerged from what? P implies Q. So what is Q implies P? What kind of a logic is this? So all such intellectual pursuits which are used as mental exercises and gymnastics in the philosophies, stop doing that. Why? Because Ghora Shamanam Kim Pariharati, he's, he is ridiculing it and by saying, will any of these fibers of cloth or dhuma or the agni or the pot come to your rescue when you are suffering so deeply in life? Ghora Shamanam Pariharati. Or will it come to your rescue when death? Shamana also means death, the executioner. When death has come before you, will any of your Ghata, Pata, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, all these darshanas come to your rescue? So stop doing all this. Vritha Vahasi. You are Kantak Shobham Vahasi. You are just parching your throat and your mind is being dulled by all of this hair splitting logic. Tarka Vachasa Tarasa Vahasi. Tarasa means forcefully, and all this tarka, all these arguments you are putting forth for and against, giving rebuttals after rebuttals to some other khandana and another khandana, parikhandana. Stop it, all of this, because it is only it's only parching your throat and nobody else's. It's only exhausting your own mind and mental energy, nobody else's. Instead, come and be with that supreme infinitude, which is called Shambhu, which will give us all the fulfillment, intellectual and mental satisfaction that is most needed, O intellect. Gayatu Arye.
हा कटो वा मृत्पिण्डो अपि अणुः अपि च धूमोऽग्नि धूमोऽग्निः अचलः पटो वा तन्तुर्वा परिहरति किं घोरशमनं वृथा कण्टक्षोभं वहसि तरसा तर्कवचसा पदाम्भोजं शम्भोर्भज परमसौख्यं व्रजसुधीः.
Anything you want to add, Arye?
I'm just noting every shloka and what it could be the gist of it. So, if the shloka, sixth shloka to be understood, is it correct, my understanding? In spite of having so much of jnana and also having applied so many tarkas, it is essential that we padam bhojam shambho. It's better to surrender at the feet of Shambho.
Very right, correct. Very right. It's against, not against intellectual inquiry. It's only against vritha kantaksha. It's against some intellectual arguments which are done in vain. That is to boost our own vanity, where we are using intellectual gymnasium. See, there are 2 or 3 different uses of gym, right? We go to gym first, most importantly, most popular reason is because we want to build muscles to show ourselves well for aesthetic purposes for the other opposite gender, or to woo other people and to look good in to other people. So that is the equivalent of what, if we use intellectualism, will look like with all of these examples, where if we are using our intellectualism to boost our ego, we are you showing that, oh, see, I'm so well read. I know Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa. I know Western logic, I know Eastern logic, I know Oriental and Occidental systems. Nobody can beat me. I have a PhD in mathematics. And all of this, if it is being used to only convince others or to prove to others what our own expertise is, then it is tarasa, it is forceful. It is tarasa, and it will only lead to parching of the throat. It's just a metaphor. It means, there is no use which may come out of it, no real use. Just as in Bhajagovindam, it was not against grammatical use. Dukran Karane, it doesn't mean that it's against the study of grammar. It is against any vain intellectual pursuits. So you're right in summarizing it by saying, instead of doing any such vain, uh, even if one is a jnani, and jnani in a sense of too much information has been crapped into the head, then there is actually no use. Instead, real fulfillment will come by actually practicing and actually being in the state of Shambhu. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You can always disagree. None of this is a binding commandment. When people have disagreed with the very statements of the Vedas, stotrams we can always, anybody can disagree with. Please do. All of you, I'm saying, I'm not in any particular person and I'm not addressing, but all of you can always disagree with it.
Namaste.
Namaste. Yes.
Surrendering doesn't mean actually sitting in the temple or sitting in your puja room and constantly reciting this or that or whatever. You can constantly think of God or his hierarchy or whatever it is, invisible form, whenever, wherever you are, depending on your circumstances. But at the end of the day, surrender means for me to be humble and perform your duties.
Yes. Perfect. Yes.
Humbleness is okay, but there comes a time when you're actually working and you have got to take control of the situation. You have got to run a company and that kind of thing. You have got to be bossy as well, and you have got to be rude as well, and you have got to have your limits. You can become angry, you can become whatever to keep up that company or run your group or whatever you call it. But you can still be humble, but you have got to act according to the situation. So, how do you define surrendering to God or doing your duty? So, when you become angry with some person, you have got a right to be angry because the task was not being done.
Mm.
How do you control your emotions? You can't be humble, you can't be surrendering all the time. You can do that when you are maybe 90 years old, 96 years old, that kind of situation. And you may be 80 and you need some work being done at your place. The workman comes and he does an odd job and shoddy job. So do you have a right to shout at him or be humble to him and surrender to God, saying, oh, whatever he does is okay?
It's a very, very deep question that, I mean, as far as I know, I can answer that. I mean, you're very right, Arya, in saying that one cannot always be in this state of surrender. But I think more than uh, outwardly being in a state of surrender, that is being kind of a doormat, it's what is actually speaking about is how. Uh, so there are two kinds of egos, right? There is one, a genuine ego, and then there is a pretense ego. So the pretense ego is what we must never, I mean, we can have. That is what even Arjuna, for example, even in the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks a very similar question, that how can I kill these people? You're saying me all these philosophical things. You're asking me to surrender to you, and then should I take up sannyasa and go off and just keep doing bhajana of you and nama japa of you? He says, no, yudhyasva vigata jwaraha. You fight, you do your responsibility, you do whatever needs to be done. But vigata jwaraha, the only thing which is different for a spiritual person is that he or she will engage with all the responsibilities of the world just like any other person. So you will not even know that he is a spiritual person. Whatever is required, whatever the world demands, however we must behave with others to get work done, etc., we must do that. He says, but vigata jwara, there is no fever. So what is a fever? It's a very nice simile, because fever is a situation where the body reacted to counteract the germs in our body. It got hot, but then that persisted. So that is why we call it a jwara. Otherwise, we would not call it an illness, right? A viral fever or whatever fever. It is a problem only if it persists. If it came at the spur of the moment, it did its job, it went back, then it would not have been a problem. So that is what this fever of samsara we carry along with us all throughout. There is, if the emotions as and when needed, like you're rightly pointing out, some plumber comes, some work needs to be done. Whatever the situation demands, That emotion must definitely, it will come out and it should be allowed to come out. It will do its job and then it will go back. But what we do is, at least what I do is, I hold on to that emotion as a sense of identity to boost my own sense of identity. That is by creating a memory out of it, by judging the person, by judging myself, by saying, see, he did this work, he didn't do it well, so I am better than him, and so and so and so. So all we make that particular incident, we weave it into a part of our own ego story. So that is not to be done. That is why the word vigata jvara. So that is a fever. It is that emotion is persisting in our consciousness beyond its desired time limit. It's like keeping all expired products in our fridge. It's no use. If you consume it, it is poison, and it's just taking up more space in the fridge. So that is, if whatever use is there, it is definitely has a use. This is what I think. And so to the point of surrender, yes, that how do we achieve that level of control where I am able to use my emotion as and when needed and put it back to rest? So that method is called as the Sharanagat. That is when one of the method, it's not the only method, of course. One of the methods to achieve such sense control, that emotion control, is through bhakti. That is by accepting mentally that things are happening, these emotions are a product of God and in situations outside also. So then there is no additional extravagant temper or an extravagant sorrow or an extravagant reaction. I think that is the logic, the psychological logic behind Bhakti Marga. Of course, such emotional control can come by other means, such as experience of life itself can also bring that wisdom. This is my answer. Did it kind of answer your question, Are you?
Yeah, the thing is, there's always a place and time for your emotions, and there's always you can control yourself or not control yourself. Sometimes you go beyond your emotions, where that situation is also not controllable. And if you realize if you have done something wrong at that particular time, you can actually go back after a little while and apologize or say sorry to persons or whatever.
Correct.
Then you can level things up.
Very true.
Same like in work situation. You got your emotions, you blurt it out, get it off your chest. And then you realize, yes, did I do it wrong? If you think you have done something wrong, just go and surrender to the other person. So I did it in the heat of the moment.
Correct.
So that's also a different kind of bhakti, I would say.
Very true. Very true. Accepted. But there are some people who will not be able to do that, right? So it is talking about such people.
If you think it is right all the
Correct.
time, continuously, you will never get into that kind of situation of bhakti.
Exactly. Very true.
You know, every action has got a reaction, and smoke without fire. And there's always some reason. And if you analyze why did that fire happen, and then you can delete the fire, permanently delete it. It happened then, but you can just forget about it. The memory is going to be there, but the emotion is not going to be there.
Really beautiful. Correct. Yes.
I have one point.
Yes, sorry. Go on.
If I understand here, the Shivananda Lahari, it's like as you first introduced, like bhakti, related to bhakti, and so it is with on this verse and the connecting phrases, like as Shantaji told, it's the right word, humbleness. It is surrendering to Shiva. So there is no other worldly entities involved. So as you both discussed, like we need to apply what is required when we are dealing with the materialistic and all activities. But here it is focus is Jiva and Paramatma, and how and how through bhakti and in what way it is experiment, right?
Very right. That's correct. So you're right in putting it into perspective that this Shivananda Hari, all these verses are not to be used as a method or a protocol to transact with the world. This is the Jiva and the Jagat. It is not talk. It's not a manual on how to transact with the world. You're right in very right in saying it is just a manual of how the relationship between Ishvara and Jagat will happen. You're very right. So this is bhakti and this is karma. This what Jiva does in the Jagat is karma. This is bhakti. This is different. Yeah, they are two different realms. Any other question? It was really a good discussion that we had. All both of your inputs have greatly embellished our this discussion. A lot of value addition. अस्तु तर्हि पुनः अग्रिमकक्षायां मिलामः. नमो नमस्ते. नमः शिवाय.
धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद.